Alright, so as usual, I'm going to be recommending 3 animes for you guys to watch. I try to mix up the genres here and there, but before I get on with the recommendations, please remember to like and subscribe. And yeah, let's get on with the recommendations. The first anime I'm going to recommend is Wise Man's Grandchild. This is a fantasy story about a young man who is reincarnated into a magical world after dying in modern day Japan. He is reborn as a baby and is found and raised by a powerful legendary wizard known as the Wise Man named Merlin. And Merlin trains him in magic from a very young age, and because this boy, who's now known as Shin, still has memories from his past life, he ends up becoming unbelievably powerful. But Merlin forgets to teach Shin something very important, which is common sense and how to function in normal society, and as a result, Shin grows up with incredible magical abilities, but very little understanding of how the world actually works, socially. When he finally enrolls in a magic academy, he easily stands out because of how overpowered he is, and he basically just shocks both of his teachers and classmates. In the first episode, we see his previous life when he dies in the accident and how he's reborn into this fantasy world, and he quickly becomes stronger than every other person. From the time that he's even just a kid, he's able to do like unbelievable magic that shocks his grandfather. So essentially, you might be thinking, yeah, we have a normal run-of-the-mill isekai, and I'm not gonna lie, this is basically what this anime is. But it doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. It's not like the greatest thing either, but generally speaking, it hits all of the marks. So if you're an isekai fiend like I am, and you just watch a whole bunch of isekai, this would probably, just about do it for you. And for that reason, yeah, I would basically recommend this series. The next anime I'm going to recommend is Tune In to the Midnight Heart. This is a story centered around a man who becomes deeply interested in a late-night radio show hosted by a girl known as Apollo. And the show feels very personal and emotional, and it speaks to listeners who feel very lonely or lost. And one day, he suddenly loses contact with the broadcast, and it disappears without explanation. Later, he transfers to a new school, and he becomes convinced that one of the girls there might actually be Apollo in real life. Determined to find out the truth, he joins the school's broadcasting club where he meets several girls who each have different personalities, secrets, and connections to the world of radio and performance. As he spends more time with them, the story becomes a mix of romance, mystery, and emotional discovery as he tries to figure out who Apollo really is, while also forming genuine connections and bonds with the girls around him. This plot is really interesting. I'm only a few episodes in, but so far it's pretty promising because it doesn't only have like the whole romance aspect, the whole mystery element to it, because he's really trying to figure out who this Apollo is. The only thing he has to go based off of is the girl's voice. So he's very familiar with the voice. So he's able to lock in to these girls from the broadcasting club, and he's kind of figuring out that maybe one of them will be Apollo, and he does get some sort of confirmation that one of them is Apollo. And then you kind of have like mini episodes dealing with, one of the girls from the club. It kind of reminds me of the Quintessential Quintuplets, which is a series that I reviewed, I think a few videos back. It kind of reminds me of that. And not just because of the plot itself, but the animation itself just feels really similar. It has really, really good animation, really detailed. All of the characters look different, but look like they're designed really well. So it just reminds me of that for some reason. And it actually is just as popular as that. Maybe, not as popular as Quintessential Quintuplets. But yeah, this one does have some good reviews. And the final anime I'm going to recommend is Witch Watch. This is a supernatural comedy about a boy who comes from a family of orcs who has superhuman strength, and it's also about his childhood friend who also is a cheerful and clumsy witch. After finishing her magical training, she moves in with him, and because a prophecy says that she will face a great danger, he is destined to protect her as her familiar. Even though he is excited to reunite with her, maybe even getting closer to her romantically, her magic is often unpredictable and causes chaotic and hilarious situations in their everyday lives. And in the story, you see them living together, and as he tries to keep her safe both from magical threats and her own accidents, while they deal with other supernatural characters, school life, and growing feelings between them. So this really has like a good mix of all of the genres. So I would say if you like shows like Dan to Dan or like Mob Psycho, even the animation itself is sort of similar to this series. It's pretty good. So if you like shows like that, then I would definitely say you would like this one as well. So yeah, check it out. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Remember to like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Lights are red and there's sweat on your